We, Shia, reject Umar ibn al-Khattab because he advocated the Shura and the elections, and you, the jurists of nowadays, approve the Shura and the elections. So what has changed? The current Tohra and the current Evangel Gospel both endorse the supremacy of Allah over His land and not the supremacy of people, and both are divine books which represent a compelling evidence for Jews and Christians. The theorists of democracy in the West have worked hard on refuting these texts that appear in the Tohra. Some of those theorists even favored distorting those texts, such as Spinoza in theological political treatises, in order to dispose of those texts which confirm the supremacy of Allah over His land and refute the supremacy of people. However, from its first pages to the last ones, the Quran acknowledges the supremacy of Allah and refutes the supremacy of people. We are not interested by the faulty perception of those who want to distort the word of Allah as they please, and those who defend a certain person or a certain belief with the corruption of those they defend and the falsity of what they believe, although this corruption is clear and does not require much effort to be perceived. First, let us go through the verse that consolidate the supremacy of Allah over His land. 1. Say, O Allah, Lord of sovereignty, Thou givest sovereignty to whomsoever Thou pleasest, and Thou takest away sovereignty from whosoever Thou pleasest. Thou exaltest whomsoever Thou pleasest, and Thou abasest whomsoever Thou pleasest. In Thy hand is all good. Thou surely hast power to do all things. This verse clearly indicates that Allah is the absolute sovereign. He, Almighty, designates whoever He wants as His successor. In this regard, He said, I am about to place a vicegerent in the earth. Following this verse, no one is entitled to appoint a king or elect a king or a ruler unless he is appointed by Allah. Indeed, this divine sovereignty or supremacy is guaranteed by Allah to whom He wishes. Moreover, it is not necessary that the king appointed by Allah truly reigns, for he might be subdued and alienated, as it has always been from the onset of humanity. Abraham a.s. did not rule. Nimrod, Allah curse him, did. Moses a.s. did not rule either. Pharaoh, Allah curse him, did. Hussein a.s. did not rule. Yazid, Allah curse him, did. Hence, Allah said, or do they envy men for what Allah has given them out of His bounty? If that is so, surely we gave the book and wisdom to the children of Abraham. And we also gave them a great kingdom. Furthermore, although Ibrahim a.s. and his descendants a.s. have always been granted dominion and divine sovereignty, they have been oppressed, subdued, and alienated from the power which has been taken over by the unjust. In fact, it is the duty of all people to empower the successor of Allah in His land and consolidate His supremacy. Otherwise, they would waste their chances and infuriate their God. As as-Sadiq a.s. said, do you not see Allah saying, it was not up to you to plant its trees, and adding, it is not up to you to designate an Imam for yourselves and claim him as such upon your wish and will. Then as-Sadiq a.s. said, there are 3 types of people that Allah will not talk to nor look at on the day of resurrection. He will not help them either, and they will suffer from great pain. Those who grow a tree that Allah did not grow. Those who designate an Imam not designated by Allah, or those who reject the people appointed by Him. The story of Talut. Hast thou not heard of the chiefs of the children of Israel after Moses, when they said to a prophet of theirs, appoint for us a king, that we may fight in the cause of Allah? This faithful and honest community of the people of Israel believes in the supremacy of Allah. Indeed, they did not appoint anyone. Instead, they asked Allah to appoint a king for them. That is the greatest evidence that the law of God in all divine religions acknowledges that the ruler is appointed by Allah and not by the people through elections. I will create a vicegerent on earth. And when thy Lord said to the angels, I am about to place a vicegerent in the earth. The representative of Allah shall be the ruler on earth, and the first representative is Adam a.s. Each era has its own representative of God. Thus, in these times, the representative of Allah is Al-Mahdi a.s. and the people should consolidate his supremacy, for he is appointed by Allah, and he should not be opposed by elections and democracy. 4. The Almighty said, and whoso judges not by that which Allah has sent down, these are the unfaithful. Then he said, and whoso judges not by what Allah has sent down, those are the wrongdoers. And he added, and whoso judges not by what Allah has revealed, those are the rebellious. The successor will obviously face new problems in whatever time, and he should have God-given sightedness and special inspiration, through which he would make his supremacy known in the events that come up. In fact, how could someone other than the successor of Allah rule in what Allah has revealed? The constant is such that no one but the successor of Allah on earth will have the chance to govern with what Allah has revealed. There are a lot of verses and events that refute the supremacy of people in elections, such as this incident of someone who listened and was an eyewitness. The story of Moses and his people. And Moses chose 70 of his people for our place of meeting, and when they were seized with violent quaking, he prayed, O my Lord, if it had been thy will, thou couldst have destroyed long before both them and me. Wouldst thou destroy us for the deeds of the foolish ones among us? This is no more than thy trial. By it thou causest whom thou wilt to stray, and thou leadest whom thou wilt into the right path. Thou art our protector, so forgive us, and give us thy mercy, for thou art the best of those who forgive. There was Moses a.s., an infallible prophet, who chose 70 men from the finest sons of Israel. They all disbelieved and rebelled against him and against Allah's orders. Therefore, if an infallible prophet such as Moses a.s. chose 70 men for a divine mission, and none of them turned out to be worthy of this mission, how would common people choose a ruler and a king? They could choose the most evil of Allah's creations unknowingly. This constitutes enough evidence for those who look for what is right and want more. Indeed, the Quran placed in his hands addresses the unaware, and already have we written in the book of David after the exhortation that my righteous servants shall inherit the land, and we have sent thee not but as a mercy for all peoples. Say, what has come to me by inspiration is that your Allah is one God. Will ye therefore bow to his will in Islam? But if they turn back, say, I have proclaimed the message to you all alike and in truth, but I know not whether that which ye are promised is near or far. It is he who knows what is open in speech and what ye conceal. I know not but that it may be a trial for you, and only an enjoyment for a while. Say, O my Lord, judge thou in truth. Our Lord, most gracious, is the one whose assistance should be sought against the blasphemies ye utter.